In today's lecture, I am going to introduce the very important concept of linear algebra, that is rank of a matrix. What do we mean by the rank of a matrix? Rank is a number which is defined as a real number, a positive number R is said to be rank of a matrix if there exists at least one non-vanishing minor. Instead of minor, I have used the word submatrix here. R is said to be a rank of a matrix if there exists a submatrix of order R whose determinant is not equal to 0, that is non-vanishing determinant, and apart from that, every submatrix of order greater than R is singular. It means its determinant vanishes. Okay. So there arises the word submatrix. Let's have a recap about that particular word. Submatrix, this word is known to you. Submatrix is of a matrix. Submatrix of a matrix is itself a matrix obtained by omitting some rows and some column. If we delete some row and some columns and rows and some columns, then what we get is said to be a submatrix. Suppose we have a matrix like 1 2 3 2 3 4. It is a submatrix as we deleted the third row. We can delete some rows, some columns. Suppose we have deleted first rows and first column, then 3 4 6 8. These are submatrix. Submatrix need not to be a square, but here we will consider only a square submatrix as we are dealing with the determinant, and all we know determinant is obtained only for a square matrix. Perhaps you have got an idea about the submatrix. Next we proceed the definition of the rank. I am trying to make you understand what its definition suggests. Okay. By taking an example, I am trying to explain this definition. Suppose we have to find out the rank of this matrix 1 2 3 2 3 4 4 6 8. What its definition suggests? We say R is rank if there exists a submatrix of order R which is non-singular, that is determinant of that particular submatrix is not equal to 0. If we delete 0 row and 0 column, then this matrix itself is a submatrix. So first we have a square submatrix A itself of order 3 cross 3. Let's find out the determinant of this matrix. Determinant of the A is equal to, if you find the determinant of this matrix, to 1 3 into 8 24 minus 6 into 4 24 minus twice of this 2 into 8 16 minus 16 plus 3 12 minus 12, that is equal to 0. What it shows? If the determinant is equal to 0, this guaranteed us rank of A can never be equal to 3. That is, rank of A must be equal less than 3. Because the first condition of a non-vanishing determinant of a submatrix has been violated here. And what if the determinant of A is not equal to 0? In that condition, determinant of A is not equal to 0 implies rank of A. We read it as a rank of A, row of A, it is read as rank of A. Rank of A is equal to order of the matrix, that is 3. Its definition suggests that if A is a matrix, whether it is a square or it is a rectangular matrix, A m cross n, by its definition we can conclude that the rank of this matrix A, rank of A will equal to minimum of m and n. If A is a square, if A is a rectangular matrix, this result is hidden in this definition of the matrix, because we are dealing with the determinant of a matrix, and for that we must have a square matrix, and this matrix being an square, m and n must be equal. So rank of A will always be minimum of m and n. Next we proceed. Here we have calculated determinant of A is equal to 0. This implies rank of A is less than 3. If it is not equal to 0, then certainly rank of A will equal to order of the matrix. Next we check out the other possibilities, what its ranks may be. Now we consider about all the possible submatrix of this matrix. So we have a submatrix like this. We consider only about the square submatrix. The first submatrix is, suppose we omit first row and first column. We have a submatrix like this: 3, 4, 6, 8. First row, first column. First row, second column. 2, 4, 2, 4, 4, 8, and so on. Means we have a different sets of square submatrices of order 2. I am going to check it out whether there exists a submatrix whose determinant is not equal to 0. If there exists at least one submatrix of order 2 whose determinant is not equal to 0, then we can say that that part R equal to 2 is a rank of a matrix A. As we have already, I have already shown here that rank of this matrix cannot be equal to 3. It certainly will less than 3. It may be 1 or it may be 2. For R equal to 2 being a rank of this matrix, I am going to check its validity. Find the determinant of this matrix. Determinant is equal to 24 minus 24. Sadly, it is equal to 0. Determinant of this matrix, 16 minus 16. Again, it is 0. By observing 2 or 3 submatrix, if its determinants equal to 0, we cannot conclude that the rank of this matrix cannot be equal to 2, because there might exist a submatrix whose determinant is not equal to 0. For this particular submatrix, I have omitted some matrix because it might take some calculations. So the rank of the determinant of this matrix is 3 minus 4, that is minus 1, is not equal to 0. So this implies rank of A is equal to 2. Because if you go through the definition of the rank of a matrix, it clearly says that there must exist a submatrix of order R whose determinants is not equal to 0. Focus on that particular point, at least one. There might exist submatrix of order R whose determinants are equal to 0, but it doesn't make any difference if we are in a position to obtain at least one submatrix of order 2 which is non-singular, means whose determinant is not equal to 0. Okay, so by this calculation we conclude that rank of this matrix is equal to 2. Hope you have understood the definition of rank of a matrix, but as you go through the calculation, you have find out the process of calculating the determinant of various submatrix. Okay, it creates a lot of calculation cumbersome if you are dealing with a matrix of higher order. So there must be some substitute method by which we can find out the rank of a matrix in a very efficient manner. Okay, so we are going to find out the rank of a matrix by not using its definition, because its definition has some calculation limitations. You have to make a lots of calculation if matrix is of higher order. The alternate method of obtaining the rank of a matrix are echelon form method and normal form method. First, I am going to explain the echelon form method. This method is the quickest method, or you may say by default method, by which we can find out the rank of a matrix. If in your examination no method is specified, just a question like this, you have to find out the rank of a matrix, we have to apply this particular method, because the calculation comfortness is the beauty of this particular method. Okay, so what is the echelon form, and what we mean by the echelon form of a matrix? Echelon is a military word. Its origin derives from the militaries, which means some specific configuration. It is a special type of configuration in which every participant, every members participating in this particular strategy is placed behind each other in a right or left. The concept of echelon form of a matrix has been borrowed from there. Okay, we say a matrix is said to be in echelon form if it satisfies the following three conditions. First condition is if there exists any zero rows. Zero rows means a row in which every elements are zero. If there exists a zero rows, it should be placed at the bottom of the matrix. Keep in mind there exists a lot of a matrix in which we have not a zero rows. Okay, so that is why I clearly mentioned the word if exist. If exist, then it is the bottom. Second thing is that the leading entries of any rows should strictly to the right of the leading entry of the above rows. What we mean by leading entry? Leading entry is a non-zero element, the first non-zero element of any non-zero rows. Suppose we have a matrix like this: 0, 2, 5, 7, 3, 2, 0, 0, 4, 5, 2, or 0, 0, 2, 0 and 2. Okay, the leading rows, the leading element in first row, I am stressing on this particular leading entities because echelon form is decided with the help of this leading entities. In first row, 2 is the leading entities. In second row, 1 is the leading entries, and in third row 2 is the leading entries. Means leading entries is the entry of any non-zero element, first non-zero element of any non-zero rows. Okay, and third one is all entries in a column below a leading entries are zero. Means what does it mean? Suppose it's our leading entries, the element below this must be equal to 0. You have to ensure that if we do claim the matrix is an echelon form, we have to take consider of these 3 points. Okay, next, in some text or in some authors suggest that all the leading entities must be unity, but I am not following this particular concept. Obviously, if we consider about the row reduced echelon form, there are some addition constraints, some additions conditions in which it is mandatory to the leading element to be unity, but to reduce a matrix into echelon form it is not mandatory as far as my knowledge is concerned. Okay, next proceed. Our challenge is, if a matrix is an echelon form, what will be the rank? If a matrix is an echelon form, then the rank of a matrix is defined as, if matrix is an echelon form, matrix is an echelon form, the rank of A is equal to number of non-zero rows. Non-zero rows. If any given matrix is in echelon form or has been reduced to echelon form, then the rank of the matrix is equal to number of non-zero rows in the given matrix. Okay. our big challenge is how to reduce a non-echelon matrix to an echelon matrix. That is you may say that is the mathematical challenge in front of us. To how to overcome this challenge? In a previous lecture, we have studied about the elementary row operations and elementary column operations. Here I want to point out one another thing. We have echelon row form and echelon column form. If nothing is said, it is understood to be echelon row form, because echelon column form is nothing, it's just a transpose of echelon row form. So by default, if we say echelon form, it is understood to be echelon row form unless or until it is specifically defined as echelon column form. Okay. Now, how to find the echelon row form? How to reduce a non-echelon, normal matrix to a echelon form matrix? It is done with the help of Gauss elimination, or alternatively, you say by using elementary row operations. Here I am going to explain all this thing with the help of an example, which is already asked in several times. Okay. It would, I think, if we learn it by an example, it would make our work quite easy. So let's have an example. Find the rank of the matrix A equal to 2, 3, minus 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1, minus 2, minus 4, 3, 1, 3, minus 2, 6, 3, 0, and minus 7. By reducing it to echelon form. Okay. We have to find out the rank of this matrix. We have to find out the rank of this matrix by using the echelon form method. Obviously, we are not going to use the definition form method for finding the rank of this matrix, because you have to calculate the determinant of this 4 cross 4 matrix. If unfortunately, if it is equal to 0, then you have to find out the determinant of several submatrices of order 3 cross 3. So obviously, we are trying to escape from such a Herculean calculations. Okay, so we are going to apply this particular method, means echelon form method. Somewhere it is said to be a triangular form method also, because if we convert a matrix into echelon form, it takes a triangular shape. We will see it later. Okay, now we proceed. Okay, in first row, its 2 is our leading entries, or you say it is also called pivot element. We can start from this 2 itself, but there is an apprehension. If we start from 2, our calculation might be complicated. Better to convert this element equal to unity. I reiterate, it is not mandatory, but it makes our calculation easy. So we will try to convert this pivot element equal to unity, because if we convert this element equal to unity, it will make our calculation easy. So by using elementary row operations, again another thing is to be considered here. We will apply only elementary row operations, because we are going to convert the matrix into echelon row form. Okay, we have to apply only row operations. I do mention here only row operations, no column operations. Okay, better to use interchange first and second row or subtract second row in first row. It is up to us ki what type of elementary row operations we are going to use. It is up to us. Someone might use interchange of first and second row, or you may use R1 minus R2. It is completely up to us. So here we are going to apply the first elementary operation. R1 is interchanged with R2. We are doing all this process only to make our calculation easy, just to make this element equal to unity. So this matrix has been reduced to the form 1 minus 1 minus 2 minus 4, 2, 3 minus 1 minus 1, 3, 1, 3 minus 2, 6, 3, 0 and minus 7. Okay. Next, all the element below the pivot element or the leading entries must be equal to 0. This is our leading entries. All the element below this leading entries must be equal to 0. Here we apply the another times the row operations. R2, R2 minus 2R1, R3, R3 minus 3R1, and R4, R4 minus 6R1. This operation reduce the matrix to the form 1 minus 1 minus 2 minus 4, 2 is 0, 3 plus 2 5, minus 1 plus 4 3, minus 1 plus 8 7, R3 minus 3R1. So 3 minus 3 is 0, 1 plus 3. R3 minus 1 plus 3 is 4, or 3 plus 6, 9, and minus 2 plus 12, 10. And R4 minus 6R1. So 6 minus 6 is 0, 3 plus 6 is 9, and 0 plus this 12, and minus 7 plus 24, that is 17. Okay. Our first work to converting all the element below this pivot element equal to 0 has been done. So up next, this process has been repeated, considering this as our leading element. Same process will be followed. These two elements must be equal to 0, and this process keeps on going unless or until we reduce the matrix into echelon form. Okay. Next we apply this method. This is our pivot element. Forget about first row and first column. Just think about this matrix. We have to reduce this matrix into echelon form. Same working process will be borrowed here. Try to convert this element equal to unity. You might have some greed to make this row equal to 0 just by adding these two row equal to 0. We can do this. But at an initial stage, I suggest you don't don't trap in such type of grades, because you might get some calculation confusion. We are following some algorithm. Try to follow me blindly. Okay. First, try to convert this element equal to unity just for the sake of simplicity. Some authors claim this element must be unity, but I am differing from that particular notion. R2, just to make this element equal to unity, I am applying this elementary transformation R2 minus R3. That is, it converts this matrix to the form 1 minus 1 minus 2 minus 4, 0, 1, 6 minus 6, 10, that is minus 3, 0, 4, 9, 10, 0, 9, 12, 17. Next, make all the element below this pivot equal to 0. That is, we have to make these two elements equal to 0. This is our new pivot. We have to convert these two equal to 0. For this, we are using a very elementary transformation R3 R3 minus 4R2 and R4 minus 9R2, that is 1 minus 1 minus 2 minus 4, 0 1 minus 6 minus 3, 0 0. R3 minus 4R2, 0, 4 minus 4 is 0, 9 plus 24, that is 33. And for this element 10, R3 minus 4R2, 10 plus 12, that is 22. 0, R4 is 0, 0. 9 minus R2, sorry, R4 minus 9 R2, so 9 minus 9, 0, 12 plus 9, 12 minus 9 into minus 54, minus plus 54, that is 66. And last one is 17 plus 27, that is 44. Okay, now we can make this element equal to unity, or just observe this matrix. It is clearly visible that R4 is a multiple of R3. So we, without making this element equal to unity, we can make this element unity if you think so. Otherwise, here I am using this R4 minus 2R3, because this result is obvious. Therefore, it is 1 minus 1 minus 2 minus 4, 0 1 minus 6 minus 3, 0 0 33 22 and 0 0 0 0. Now we are going to check it out whether the matrix has been reduced to the echelon form or it has not reduced yet. Okay, first of all, try to remember all the three conditions that make any matrix to the echelon form. First condition was, if there exists any zero rows, it must be at the bottom. Obviously it is, there exists a zero rows, it is at the bottom of the matrix. Second, all the leading elements should be placed in such a way that the succeeding leading element should strictly be the right side of the previous row's leading element. Look here, it is 1, its right is 1 here, and all the pivot all the leading elements are like this. Okay, it means the matrix has been reduced to the echelon form. So once the matrix had been reduced to the echelon form, we directly write its rank as rank of an echelon matrix is equal to number of non-zero rows. Therefore, rank of this matrix, rank of A is equal to number of non-zero rows. Here it is 3, because this is our 0 row. All the element of this row are zeros. There exists at least one non-zero element, that is, it's a non-zero row, it's a non-zero row, and it's a non-zero row. There are 3 non-zero rows. Okay, sometimes echelon form is also said to be a triangular form, or you may simply you can memorize in a way to convert a matrix into an upper triangular form. If you try to convert a matrix into an upper triangular form, obviously what you will get is an echelon form of a matrix. Okay, now we are going to do some questions on it.